we're going to be talking this morning and meditating with the idea of trying to get away from our inner narrator. And when I say get away from it, I don't mean running away from it, but we all have this inner narrator, this inner thinking voice that kicks in. And we notice it most actually at times like when we go to meditate. Now, if you've ever gone to meditate, closed your eyes and or you just try to take a peaceful moment and you close your eyes and then your mind kicks in with the thinking about all sorts of inane things. You might and it's basically narrating your experience. So rather than just directly experiencing what's going on in your life, it's saying, even the bird song that I can hear right now, rather than just hearing the bird song, my mind starts thinking, oh, listen to the birds, that's nice. Oh, I wonder what type of birds they are. Oh, it reminds me of that bird. Oh, it reminds me of that time. And suddenly our mind is just way away from where we want to be, which is right now in this moment. So I'm going to be guiding you through a technique today in the practice, which allows you to start to recognize and notice when your mind has been hijacked. We're going to use this technique to recognize when our mind's been taken off and just gently coming back. So it helps us to get out of the struggle with, when you close your eyes and you're meditating or you're resting and your mind starts doing that thing of suddenly you're thinking about this meeting or conversation you've got to have and you go, oh no, I'm supposed to be meditating. Oh, hang on. Oh God, I'm supposed to be meditating. So instead of doing that, it just takes away that that needing it to disappear or change. But it creates this, it builds this muscle, this ability to notice when our mind's been hijacked and just come back to the raw experience right now. That without that, we don't actually need that inner narration going on in our lives. And actually, I'll invite you as you go through your day today to notice how often your mind is talking to you about your experience. And the problem with that talking to you part of your mind is that it tends to be very judgy. It tends to be very me focused. So it's about my experience, and it's often quite negative about ourselves. And it tends to sort of think the worst and notice the worst. And so it can be really helpful to start creating this practice that helps you to get out of that so that you can use it in your daily life. That's one of the things that, in fact, it's one of the things I notice if I haven't been practicing as much. I notice that voice starts to come back and I'm not just experiencing my life, I'm talking about experiencing my life in my own mind, if that makes sense to you. So don't worry too much if this feels a bit vague and you're not really sure, because we're going to have an experience of it and we're going to just be curious, see what happens for you today as you meditate and practice. And there's no special postures or techniques that we're going to do other than this simple noting technique that I'm going to share with you that I'll guide you through. And in terms of your posture, just being comfortable, so active but relaxed. Because for this type of practice, we really want to be paying attention. We want to be conscious and aware. So although meditation can be relaxing because it triggers the relaxation response in the body, we don't want to go into that full-blown falling asleep mode, unless of course you are absolutely exhausted and that's what your body needs right now. So just paying attention and finding that middle space between those two states is great. And with our thoughts, in this practice today, as I said, what we're going to do when we notice that we're distracted by thinking, instead of trying to just come back and ignore it or push them away, we're just going to note the word thinking. It's going to be thinking, and we're just going to keep noting thinking. While that thinking's going on, we're not going to try and get rid of the thoughts. We're just going to note thinking, and then when we come back. And same with sensations in our body and sounds that we can hear, because again, when we have a sensation in our body or we hear sounds, our thinking mind can then take over. And instead of just experiencing the sensation in our hip, we then start talking to ourselves about, I wonder if I pushed it too far when I went for that ride yesterday. I should probably have a stretch later. I wonder where I should have a stretch. Oh, I don't know if I've got time to have a stretch. Oh yeah, that's a point. I'm really busy this morning, aren't I? Oh God, have I got time to? You see how it kind of suddenly our awareness of a sensation becomes this inner dialogue. And so we just want to just use the word sensation and just experience it, this raw experience of sensation. And same with hearing, just hearing. So don't worry, I'm going to guide you through and just see it as an experiment, just to see what works for you. So gently closing down your eyes. I'm going to cover my fingertips because they're starting to get chilly. I'm closing down your eyes and just beginning to notice yourself here right now. Maybe noticing if there's activity in your mind already. Is the day already starting in your mind? Or is there resistance to your day starting in your mind? And just beginning to notice as we turn inwards that sometimes there's a whole other world happening that we're not even aware of in our minds. That background noise that's distracting and makes it hard to concentrate in our day. And just noticing as you're sitting here that your body's breathing. You can feel the rising and falling of your body. At the same time, you can feel your feet on the ground. You can feel your hands in your lap, your arms by your side. Maybe you can notice your jaw, your forehead. But actually, you can expand your awareness to take in your whole body. Just noticing how it feels right now. Noticing the rising and falling of the breath. And that you don't need to make that happen. Your body knows what to do. It knows how to breathe. Even if sometimes as we pay attention to the breath, it almost becomes momentarily difficult. Like our minds try getting in the way. Just notice that as you breathe in, the body rises. Maybe that starts in the belly, rises up to the chest, and then it falls as you breathe out. And to begin to harness our attention and bring it to this moment right now, we can actually use a gentle noting of rising and falling. So as you breathe in, you can gently say in your mind the word rising, really softly and gently. And as you breathe out, you can gently say the word falling. And when your mind gets distracted, just come back to rising, falling, rising, falling. This focused attention on the breath. Just holding it really lightly, as if you're just placing your attention there. Letting go of any need to control anything or make anything happen. For this moment right now, you're just here, exactly where you're supposed to be, just watching what happens. Rising, falling. And your mind might already have kicked in with thoughts. You might notice sensations in your body. Or you might notice sounds. And as we open our awareness to allow in that full range of our experience, just allowing yourself to feel that raw experience by using that noting technique now instead of for the breath, but for whatever arises. So if your mind is starting to think, just noting the word thinking, thinking, thinking. If you become aware of sounds, just hearing, hearing, hearing. And if there's sensations in the body, whether that's an awareness of a particular part of the body or the breath or any sensation, just noting sensation, sensation. So whatever becomes the most obvious in your awareness that's hijacking you and taking you away from just being in this awareness space, just noting, thinking, hearing, sensation. And if the sensation is also accompanied by an emotion, you can even note that. So you could note frustration or anxiety or gratitude along with that sensation. We'll take a few moments of just being here in silence, just noting, thinking, 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 hearing, sensation. And you don't need to note everything that comes up, just whatever is the most obvious at any moment. And perhaps there'll be moments where there's nothing to note. And I'll guide you back when it's time. If you find yourself lost in thought, as soon as you notice, just gently noting, thinking, 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 not to get rid of the thoughts, or to push them away, or to deny that they're there, but just to create space so that you're not caught up in that narrative. They're just thoughts. Even if they're quite daydreamy, they're just thoughts. And bringing your attention back to the breath now. Letting go of that noting of the things that rise and fall in your awareness. And instead noting that rising and falling again. So we go from an open awareness where we allow things to flow in and out, to really bringing our awareness and gently placing it in one place. Training our capacity to choose where to place our attention. Rising, falling, rising, falling. And we might still be aware of sensations and thoughts and sounds, but we just gently come back each time now to this rising and falling. Rising, falling. Noticing once again your body in the space, your feet on the floor, your hands in your lap. Maybe noticing if your shoulders have been able to soften away from your ears. And allowing your head now to become really heavy, letting your chin very slowly move forwards down towards your chest. So allowing your head to feel heavy, the chin drawing down towards your chest, as if your head is so heavy. Feeling the vertebrae at the back of the neck opening out as you allow your head to drop forwards. Breathing in now into the back of the neck. Maybe feeling that space opening more at the back of the neck. Noticing how far down the spine you feel that pulling of the head, the weight of the head. Breathing in deeply to the belly, letting the air soften the body as it leaves. And then allowing your head to become super light now, as if it was a balloon filled with air, and very slowly controlling the chin coming back up, the head coming back above the spine. The head now is so light, it's filled with air. Noticing how it makes you feel, maybe even a little bit taller, like your whole body can rise up. Breathing in and breathing out. And thanking yourself for being here this morning, or whenever you're watching or listening. Thanking yourself for this moment to just witness your internal experience and create that capacity to choose where to be and to experience this moment exactly as it is. Gradually returning movement to your fingers and your toes, maybe allowing a little smile to come onto your face as that thank you to yourself. Whatever your experience has been this morning, gently opening your eyes, keeping the gaze soft for a moment, just allowing the room or the space you're in to gently come back into your full awareness. Maybe taking any movement that feels good for you, maybe a stretch, maybe even a yawn, and being grateful for whatever you noticed today. And I'd love to know how that was for you, what you experienced, what you noticed as you were witnessing the things coming up. And as you go through your day today, can you just keep an eye out for that inner narrator that gets in the way of our direct experience of what's going on? Have a great day, everyone, and I will see you very soon.